I'm StJohn Gardner, Chief Investment Officer at Sandaire. This week I wanted to touch on the European Rescue Package and its implications. Over the past 2-3 weeks, announcements have been made in respect of European economic stimulus. A Macron-Merkel instigated recovery fund proposal of 500 billion euros was quickly followed by the European Commission's announcement of its own next generation European Union plan, topping it up to 750 billion euros over 4 years, and attaching it to the Commission's standard 7-year budget proposal for 2021 to 2027 of borrowing 1.1 trillion euros, and thereby taking it up to 1.85 trillion euros. Of the 750 billion announced, around 560 billion will be used as a recovery fund, of which 310 billion would be grants and 250 billion would be loans. The European Commission proposes to pay it back gradually via European Union-wide taxes between 2029 and 2058, with Germany paying about 3.9% of GDP, Austria and Sweden about 3.5% of GDP, whilst the biggest recipients will be countries like Hungary, whose GDP could be boosted by as much as 22%. While looking like a wealth transfer from frugal northern states to their southern problematic neighbours, German political support looks assured as a better alternative to the single market's dissolution, which would have far harsher impacts on German firms who rely on integrated supply chains for their exports. Austria and the Netherlands may be less enamoured with the plan, but suffer the same issues as Germany, with the European Commission's proposed green spending and digital upgrades appeasing Denmark and Sweden. The plan requires unanimous backing from all 27 member states, who discuss the detail in mid to late June, and so it's not a done deal yet. But it does look likely to pass in the second half of this year, and in doing so will change the nature of financial risk in Europe. It has similarities to the Eurozone's reaction to the 2010 euro crisis, which saw the European Financial Stability Facility created as a temporary bailout vehicle before later being institutionalized as a permanent facility. In effect, they will have established a precedent of the EU itself issuing common debt to leverage its budget, and for Brussels to adopt public deficit spending policies. It introduces a degree of common fiscal policy in its cross-border support for a pan-European growth agenda. With any announcement of stimulus, the asset markets took it positively, albeit only a small part of the funding will be disseminated over the next 18 months, the time period over which the pandemic is expected to have had its greatest impact. Nevertheless, in effect, the European Commission has signalled a plan to hold the European Union together, and in doing so, is supporting euro risk assets, which is good for markets. Thank you for watching. This has been my weekly investment update for Sandaire on air.